touch base on the coach search? What's the situation at the moment as it stands?
Yeah, I've spoke to certain individuals over the last 7 days. I've got a couple more calls to make and a couple of interviews. Early back end of this week and early next week. But I've narrowed the search down to five, and we'll interview those five over the next few days, mate. Yeah, so we have a board meeting next Friday, and I'd like to think by next Friday that we'll have a head coach, or we will have announced a head coach. That's certainly the plan. So yeah, it's been a busy few days.
But it has, without giving away names, etc. How impressed have you been with the candidates that you've spoken to so far?
Yeah, the candidates all the candidates that we've had. I think I've said it a few times. In excess of 20 candidates from UK and overseas, and it's been very, very difficult to narrow that down to the number that we've narrowed it down to. But yeah, you're very, very optimistic and very, very impressed with the candidates that we've had apply for the job. Some surprising ones, yeah, it's been great, mate. I just think just having those conversations with the coaches, they're being impressed with the vision and where the club wants to go, and discuss recruitment plans and players that we're looking to bring in, and players that we've already signed. So yeah, it's been I've been really, really happy with the quality of candidates that we've had.
So next back end of next week, you'll be handing over the chalice, but potentially not if they'd have to come over, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I think we'd like to get an announcement in, JD. But a lot of these guys are already, they're already contracted to clubs. Or I'd say probably four out of the five are contracted overseas, and I think they would like to do the right thing and finish the season off at their respected clubs. So yeah, it will be it'd be an appointment that the guy will be here for the first day of pre-season. We just got to. I've just got to manage these next probably 7-8 weeks. But whoever that coach is going to be, I'll be in dialogue with that coach and asking him for advice and plans and working on certain game plans and stuff for the rest of this year as well. So I'm really excited, JD. I'm really excited. I'm really excited about the project, but I know that this appointment is probably going to be the biggest appointment that I make at this club, and I know that I've got to get it 1,000,000% right. I think I did that at Lee. I made sure that I took my time with the appointment in Adrian Lamb, and that proved to be certainly my best signing that I made as a director of rugby at Lee, and I know how important this signing is going to be for the Castleford Tigers moving forward.
It is, isn't it? It is a seismic decision. Is it keeping you up at night?
Only because that's the time when I speak to the agents, JD. Try and get a little bit of sleep between 8 and 10 o'clock, and then set an alarm, and then we start some dialogue then at probably 10 o'clock at night when it's 7 o'clock over there in the morning. So yeah, listen, it's not keeping me up, mate. It's exciting for me. I'm really excited about the challenge. I'm excited about what's going on behind the scenes and the announcements that we're going to make. And there's going to be a lot of positive news comes out of this club over the coming weeks, and certainly the head coach will be at the forefront of that. And like I said, I've got to make sure it's the right guy and the right fit for the club. And I'll make sure that that I do that.
your thoughts on the big news this week about the 14-team expansion from next season? It's obviously something that Castleford have voted for. What are your broad thoughts on it?
Um, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not too. I'm not sure why we needed to rush that decision through. Um, I thought we probably as a game should have taken a little bit more. There's a little bit more time in the decision making. Is there enough players to go around 14, 14 teams? I know we've increased the 10 in terms of the overseas. We don't want to dilute the quality of the competition that we've got at this moment in time. I just feel that it's been rushed. But I'm not in part of those decisions. I'm led to believe there was a vote or there was a discussion on 10. There was going to be a discussion on 12 and a discussion on 14. I've not really spoke. I had a brief conversation with Martin, and a lot of people in the room voted. Did vote for 14. But I think I'm not sure on the timing. I'm not sure why we've rushed it through, JD, to be honest. But listen, it's a decision that's been made, and we've got to as a game, and we've got to get behind it, and hopefully we've done it for the right reasons, and let's see what 2026 brings.
Obviously, you've got a game to plan for, and have been preparing for this. Squad wise, how different could that side look against Saints on Friday?
Yeah, there'll be a couple of changes. There will be a couple of changes. One forced. Obviously, we lost Innes Senior. Innes is going to be out now for the rest of the year. He had surgery, so he played on the Sunday. I think he had surgery on the Tuesday. So he had ankle surgery. So that keeps him out for the rest of the year. Jerry Simbikin got a suspension. It's something that we were going to appeal, but just looking at how the law's written and the consequences of us fighting it, and if we did fight it and lose, then every time that Jerry gets a point from here on in, it'll be a two game ban. So we weighed a lot of things up, and it's just pot luck with that with the system at the minute, mate. I don't really like going into it too much or saying too much about it, but we just took it on the chin with Jerry, and Jerry's obviously out this week, but it'll be available for the following week. Brought young Jensen Winley in and Andy Duquesne. At least one of those guys will play this week. I'm really looking forward to seeing that, and they've trained. They've had a good week. Both those two guys have had a good couple of weeks of training in the full time environment. Jensen's been out on loan at Sheffield and done well, as has Andy. And they're two really talented kids. And I've just had another chat with a couple of the other young guys that I intend to give some more opportunities to young kids. To some young kids over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, it's Jerry's just seemed to can't get in a rhythm. Jerry, he's just come back from an injury, and then he gets a suspension. He missed a few games early on in the year through suspension. So yeah, he's just he's a little bit frustrated, as we all are, but gives an opportunity to some other players in the squad.
Just on Duquesne, obviously, unlike Jensen, he's not featured in Super League yet. When do you know when a player's right to make their debut?
I think when you see him playing against men, I think Andy's been. I think he were out at Workington for a few weeks, and he really impressed me in the reserves fixture against Wigan down here. I think he scored 2 tries. I think he scored a try against Wakefield in the last reserves fixture. Yeah, you just get a feel, mate. And I think, Hull, they got a lot of stick last year for Hull, with the teams that they were putting out, but they were blooding a lot of young kids, and I think that's kind of what I need to do between now and the end of the season, blood some of these young kids just to see if they are going to be, ready in 26. And I intend to do that with Andy and with Jensen and a couple of other young kids. But yeah, I think, he physically still, he's still only very slight, he's Andy, but mate, he's a goer, he's a trier, and he's got some speed, and if he gets out in the open, there's not many people that are going to catch him. So I think that's the exciting part, and that's what the Cas fans will be excited for, and I'm excited to see him play, and both him and Jensen are both ready to go when selected.